This notebook, this photo album is very, very old. It's my stuff, but it fell on the floor, and everything goes through transformations after it hits the floor if you have pets. Get rid of that. Okay. Little girl sitting on the lap of the lady on the bottom row, furthest from, but closest to the left, is my mom. See the car in the back? This is like the 1920s. So, the picture is irreplaceable. You know, people don't take enough care of photographs. I got my photos out of the house after my older half-sister left the house, the laundry room. That's me in the background. This is it when I worked in the Black Hills. This is Cliff. Cliff Crosby was the nicest, sweetest gentleman. He met everybody with where there's Kathy. Every morning he worked in the gift shop. This is their five-wheeler or fifth wheel. And we're having lunch. I knew him for 2 seasons, and then before he came back from the third, he had his lungs looked at, and they opened him up, found he was loaded with cancer, and sealed him back up. And that was the end of Cliff. See, there he is. He was the nicest, sweetest guy. He and his wife were from Terre Haute, Indiana. I know, they look like puppies to me. But I think they're bears. There is a park outside of Rapid City, South Dakota. It's called Bear Country, I think. And you went through, and there are all sorts of baby bears and large bears, and they farmed out the baby bears in January, and they stayed in people's basements because they couldn't keep them all. And that was my roommate, Doris, and that was Dorothy Kibble. She was my friend, and she worked in the gift shop. She'd been there for 60 years. I don't remember her name, but we were in Dorothy's house. And my nephew, my godson, came out to Mount Rushmore with Mom and Dad in 1995. No, I'm thinking it was 94. It was my first summer there. He was 5 years old. Let's see, if he was 5 years old in 94, so he was 11 by 2000, so he's 33 now. I haven't seen him for 2 years. Daniel Eric Mathis lives in Waukon, Iowa. Can't be bothered to come see his only aunt. And there he is in the bathtub. Well, no, he's in the sink at the cabin that the folks stayed in. Ha 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 ha, little Daniel. Look at him. He was so sweet. He was the first one to see Mount Rushmore. He wanted to go along with Mom and Dad. It was so great to be able to show him off. I don't think I'll see him again until he's dead or I'm dead. There he is, little Daniel. So they were driving around in there, and of course Dad, rules never went with Dad, so he had the windows down. A voice to the Park Service yells over, "Will the Iowa car please shut his damn windows?" That's my grandma when she was a little girl, when she was a teenager. Lottie Henrietta Starkey Bittinger. Bittinger used to be in the 1600s when they were first in America. Buttinger, and they changed it to Bittinger. There's Daniel again. Such a sweetheart. Such a cute boy. That was my dog. My little dog. I don't remember his name. I know I had to give him away. And that's my pal. He came with me from Denver, Colorado. We walked home. Got 3 rides. Longest of Fort Morgan, Colorado, Coralville, Iowa, and a bread wagon. That little boy there is my youngest nephew. I'm so proud of him. He got the cure in 2014. He was becoming an alcoholic. He's 2 years younger than Daniel. That's Dan and Pal. Oh, I don't know what that is, actually. I think it's a puppy, I think. And they had a chocolate lab. They had 2 chocolate labs. And that was Harriet Duggan. She had been a curtain, and she married Claire Duggan. And Daniel and Craig at our old house on the velvet couch. She was one of my good friends. She was a cousin of my best friend, Florence Fitzgerald. What you doing up there? Okay. And they liked her. And she behaved herself when she came. Well, she didn't, but Dad behaved himself when he came over to dinner. She came. I wrote this. I wrote many things to the paper. It seems to me that people don't remember what our flag stood for. This occurs to me each time I see a flag that hung outside all the time. No proper light, torn, ripped, unloved. Like they remembered or thought they were doing right when they hung it. But then forgot it and left it to blow to its destruction. I remember when I first took notice of it standing for more than a piece of cloth. It was in 1970, after a long day at school, sitting with my folks watching the CBS News, seeing the black body bags returning to loving homeland. They left to give their life for America returning from Vietnam. Flags, American flags, were stretched across the faithful fallen dead. Been writing since 1978. Oh, there's another one by me. I think that was Casey. I loved him. Diana didn't like him. She made Mother get a dog she didn't want to get and give my dog away when I was at school one day. That's my Aunt Clarion. She's my very favorite aunt. Not one of my family could bother to tell me she was dead. I had to Google it. Your family is not the best people you have. You find them, you adopt them, you keep them, you love them, that's it. That must be it. It's going to go into a chest of saved love things from the house. It's in my bathroom. Because I have a massive hole under my seat, under my sink that no one bothered to fill when I bought a refurbished trailer. That's Theodore. He's sleeping. Good night.